So let's say it's the year 2016. I know, pretty scary. You're scrolling through on YouTube and you somehow stumble across a channel known simply as Poppy. You watch a video or two until suddenly you're hooked. You must find out more. Who is this? What is she? Where did she come from? What is the meaning behind all these short, seemingly random videos? There's so many of them. And it turns out she makes music also? Well, you see, at a time when artists are expected to chase after the latest fads and trends, become internet personalities through social media to market an image of themselves to larger audiences, to try and stay relevant, it can be a bit tricky to stand out in the music landscape and differentiate oneself creatively. Often you have to develop some sort of gimmick, an image, something unique. Might have the potential to go viral, get people hooked, and keep them coming back for more. So it would only make sense to create a parody of a pop star, a somewhat performance art series with a narrative involving a superficial android-like girl named Poppy, eager for fame but would ultimately end up in a giant online conspiracy, laced in Illuminati symbolism, MK Ultra style brainwashing, secret societies, and talking plant. Yeah, today we're going to be dissecting and analyzing the surrealist, Lynchian-esque, hypnotizing, addictive, creepy and weird, to some, video series phenomenon. From its satirical critiques on media propaganda, social and political commentaries, to exploring the deeper sides of fame and dealing with shady and manipulative people in the business. Today, most people probably know Poppy for her heavier alternative rock, punk, and metal sounds, but before that Poppy, this Poppy, or that other time, she was, well...
I'm Poppy.
Actually, things go back much farther than that. Born on the 1st of January 1995, Mariah Pereira spent the early years of her life living in Whitman, Massachusetts. She attended public school where she often was bullied for being quiet and skinny, finding it difficult to fit in and make new friends.
I was made fun of a lot in school for being this quiet, kind of nerdy kid, but kind of weird. So that made people pay attention to me in kind of a negative way. Music definitely worked as an escape.
After a while, Mariah decided to switch over to homeschool and spent most of her time isolated in her room, studying and listening to music, with the internet as her teacher. From an early age, she had a passion for singing and dancing. Her father was a drummer in a punk rock band, and she cites early inspirations stemming from listening to Blondie and No Doubt. At age 14, Mariah and her family moved to Nashville for a fresh start. She made new friends and began receiving vocal training. Soon after, she created a YouTube channel, a place to post vlogs, as well as covers and original songs, going by her first stage name, Mariah Poppy, a name given to her by a close friend. Later, this evolved into That Poppy before eventually shortening it to just Poppy. Throughout 2011 and 2012, Poppy was performing at small venues, and by 2013, she moved out to Los Angeles to pursue her career. There, she signed her first record deal with Island Records, where she would begin collaborating with various writers and producers to put together demos. As those demos were shared around to various talents in the music industry circle, she quickly was noticed by a guy named Corey Mixter, aka Titanic Sinclair. And through mutual friend connections, he became Poppy's creative partner. Now, Titanic was formerly a part of a band and made a series of satirical art videos under the name Computer Show that deconstructed pop culture and the uprise in social media at the time, alongside his girlfriend Brittany Sheets, aka Mars Argo, who he met on MySpace back in 2008.
Welcome to our computer show. I'm Mars Argo.
My favorite music this week is Thriller by the musical artist Michael Jackson, who recently died.
Throughout the late 2000s and early 2010s, they would create countless videos, music, and sketches together.
I'm exactly what Urban Outfitters wants me to be.
I'm an art student. I'm original.
We are the internet.
However, in early 2014, most of the videos were taken down from YouTube after putting things on hiatus over the state of their relationship. Around this time, they broke up, but continued working on projects over the next few months. The band officially split up in the middle of 2014, with Corey and Brittany ending things on very rough terms, which we'll come back to later down the road. Soon after this, once Poppy and Titanic officially began working together, they became very close friends and started dating behind the scenes sometime in the same year or possibly in 2015. But it's hard to say because they kept the relationship a secret from the public. Because in the Poppy fictional universe, Titanic's role was to play the puppeteer, the one who's in control of things, while Poppy was the mannequin, the android, the one who couldn't operate without him. Though we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. When it comes to the Poppy Project video series, originally it blossomed out of a random one-off joke uploaded on the 4th of November, in which Poppy is seen eating cotton candy with ASMR mouth sounds dubbed over. And at the end, you can hear her and presumably Titanic snicker. Out of the 5 videos released in 2014, the second, titled Do You Like This One, was the only one that has since been deleted. Little is known about this one, and the only thing that still exists is a low-quality GIF. If you look closely at the background, you can spot a mannequin who we will see make more appearances in future videos, and even be added as a main character in the storyline. Other firsts would come from Poppy's bodysuit dancers in the video Thursdays Are Boring. The two are seen painting her nails, one of them is wearing a pink bodysuit while the other wears a purple bodysuit, and moving forward, they both make appearances in 2015 music videos, with future variants being white, black, neon, and yellow. On the 3rd of December, we would get our first Poppy video that had dialogue and a bit more added substance. That being, my phone is not plugged in. It consists of Poppy answering her telephone despite her saying that it is not plugged in. She hangs the phone up and we cut to her informing the audience that
Everything happens for a reason, but it's not about the reason.
After this, we cut to Poppy playing a guitar covered in Skittles before proclaiming that she hates music. So maybe she's merely doing this for the fame and the money. Poppy then declares that she needs to change her identity and become a whole new person. We cut moments later to her wearing a kimono, a completely different outfit style from her leopard print jacket.
Poppy, which one's your favorite?
Poppy replies and holds up a Polaroid photo of her wearing the same outfit. The phone rings once more and she answers it by saying she just realized her phone was plugged in the whole time. She ends the call by saying she loves them, and that's the video. Poppy is being asked by a person, likely the head of a label, what image of her they need to promote and capitalize on, though she doesn't question any of this and solely does what she is told because everything happens for a reason.
But it's not about the reason.
In 2015, the budget for these videos increased, with videos being filmed in front of multiple pastel-colored backdrops to make Poppy's world appear confined, but still bright and colorful. They also began creating more original, ambient, and synthesized music to incorporate into the background. Poppy would begin interacting with props similar to that of Pee Wee Herman. Things often felt whimsical and absurd, as though Poppy was untouched by the sinister, creepy world around her. Titanic and Poppy would integrate more satirical themes towards the music industry, as well as the effects pop culture and media has on society. We really start to get a good sense of who Poppy is and what she's all about, at least at this stage of the project. During this year, Poppy would also promote music for her upcoming EP, Bubblebath. Besides that, Poppy would kick off the year with what is now her most popular video in the ongoing series, and is easily the most recognizable one, that being, I'm Poppy. A 25-second clip of her repeatedly introducing herself that is then looped for 10 minutes.
I'm Poppy. 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 I am Poppy. I'm Poppy.
This is the video that would go on to be memed and spread all over the internet back in 2016. She didn't want us to forget her name, and suffice it to say, it worked. The second video dropped in 2015 was called Umbrella, where Poppy is seen rotating in place and holding an umbrella, with helicopter sounds added in post. Each time she comes back around to face the audience, Poppy is seen with a new expression, reminiscent of a mime or how in theater performance you prepare to get into character when the curtain is down. She freezes and the video ends with a crowd clapping and her walking off stage. This likely is symbolic of how much a person shares about themselves on social media, but it's all typically premeditated and not always genuine, like putting on a show or a mask. She would satirize cheesy product ads and brand deals, including hokey acting and all, in videos like Tide commercial. What's interesting is this wasn't the last time Poppy acknowledged the brand. In a later 2015 video called Pajamas, Poppy is seen, in her pajamas, which she is embarrassed over, as she exclaims that she forgot to get dressed for today's video. Yet she remembered to put on makeup At the end of the video, she talks about how soft and comfortable her PJs are, while she awkwardly holds up a box of Tide fabric softener. Apparently Tide reached out and actually replied to the original video's tweet, which is kind of great. The first time that we really see Illuminati-related imagery was in the video Poppy's Donut Friends. It begins on a shot of 13 donuts. The camera then tilts up as Poppy reaches for a donut. She eats the one shaped as the letter I before we cut to 5 different donuts, each with unique toppings. Poppy picks the P-shaped donut and says that it is her favorite, as the donut makes a perfect eye hole. She takes a bite of the donut, turning the P into more of a F shape. F's in the chat. Poppy has joined the Illuminati, allegedly.
This one's my favorite donut.
I mentioned earlier that the now deleted video, Do You Like This One, featured a little Easter egg in the background. Well, our next video is the official first for Charlotte, and in fact is actually a 4-part series of interviews helping us get a better idea of who Poppy is. Well, kind of. They mainly serve as a way to mock interviewers who frequently ask the same basic questions.
What an interesting and remarkable question that no one's ever asked me before.
Now, seeing as 3 of the 4 were posted in 2015, we're only going to be focusing on these videos for the time being. Part 1 starts with Charlotte, who speaks in a text-to-speech voice.
Why does everyone want to be just like you?
Which is a reference to her at the time upcoming single, Everybody Wants to Be Poppy, a song all about unoriginality and pretending to be somebody you're not in order to be popular, or I guess, popular. A few weeks leading up to the release, she put out a 3-part animated web series to promote it. The next question Charlotte asks is what inspires her as an artist. Poppy lists various things that inspire her, from candy, paper bags, and petrichor. Charlotte asks what petrichor is, and Poppy responds by quoting the Oxford Dictionary. Charlotte then asks what it is like to live in Los Angeles, to which Poppy states that it is a wonderful place where all of your dreams can come true, although there is a significant lack of petrichor, causing both Charlotte and Poppy to erupt into laughter over the thought of the environmental impacts of climate change. The second interview was uploaded 2 months later. In it, Poppy announces that she just finished shooting her music video for her new song Lowlife. Charlotte asks about the experience and what we can expect, and Poppy proclaims that there are many fun things that happen in the video, including a guest appearance from Satan himself, stating at one point he is seen eating a banana. Charlotte scoffs at this and asks who on earth would come up with an idea like that. Poppy informs her that the video was directed by Titanic Sinclair and praises him for being an amazing director, this being the first time Titanic was mentioned in this universe. Charlotte goes on to ask Poppy if she likes to read. Poppy tells her that she loves to read books and lately has been reading one called the Holy Bible.
What is it about?
It's a very easy read, even at 479 pages.
Poppy would upload not only 1, but 2 videos where she attempted to read the Bible, which together equaled nearly an hour and 20 minutes.
And the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the Ankh stone.
The second video ended right before describing the father-daughter incest bit at the beginning of Genesis 20, and to this day she hasn't posted a part 3. I wonder why.
Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Why saidst thou, she is my sister, so I might have taken her to be my wife? Now therefore, behold, thy wife, take her and go thy way. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had.
Speaking of part 3, the third interview dropped 3 weeks after the last and answers the hot question that had been on everyone's mind. What is the meaning behind Poppy's videos? Well, according to the Poppy Sona herself, they are typically based on her childhood, as well as the things in her life that she desires the most. Charlotte asks her what music she is currently into and what food she likes, to which Poppy responds,
I like the sound it makes when something wet hits something metallic.
And as for food, she really enjoys donuts covered in Fruit Loops. One of my favorites from this year was titled I Like to Hula Hoop. At first it just seems like a basic, straightforward, meaningless Poppy video. Poppy is hula hooping. Pretty simple enough, However, in the background we hear a crowded public setting, most likely a park, and at one point a faint voice exclaims, "Mom is dead." And Poppy just continues to smile and hula hoop, and that's the video. Good stuff, right? They also would poke fun at clickbait this year in Sing For You. You assume Poppy is going to perform a new song or something, then you click on the video and it's just a 30-second random video of her talking about what's on her mind, including metaphysical theories. Which, I mean, yeah, it's a Poppy video, what do you expect? But also, what the heck, where's the singing?
We are living on a planet. Every life-altering experience is necessary.
Another video from this year that dealt with clickbait, specifically misleading headlines, was appropriately titled, Young Girl Makes Crazy Video on YouTube. It also touches on the topic of social media consumption, having an addiction to it.
I like to use the website Facebook and also the Facebook app on my Apple iPhone. I thought of a fun idea. Maybe I'll tweet it. My life is meaningful and I am happy when I receive many likes.
But don't fret, she also would post some informative educational content, such as in her video, Welcome to the World. In said video, Poppy talks about America, the country in which she inhabits, and states that America is the superpower of the entire planet Earth. Which is, Anywho, the last video posted in 2015 has since been taken down, though unlike her second video, this one was luckily archived. Moving forward, most of her now deleted videos were backed up. This video was titled Black T-Shirt and features Poppy looking in several directions as her iconic I'm Poppy introduction is echoing in the background. The year started out bright and ended in the dark. In 2016, Poppy released her debut EP, Bubblebath. Although in late 2016, she would leave Island Records on the account of several issues she experienced being under a major label. For starters, they didn't like or understand why she was uploading such bizarre content to her channel and didn't understand her image and what it represented. Her EP was also supposed to be an album at first, but Island Records decided to scrap the project and shortened it down to a 4-track extended play. As for videos, we would see a noticeable increase in the frequency that they were being posted, with even more characters getting introduced, such as Plant Skeleton and a mysterious entity group controlling Poppy, who she refers to as them or they.
So when you woke up today, how'd your day start?
First they told me to get dressed, and then they washed my hair, and then they told me how good Three Musketeers bars are.
They most likely are meant to be the record label or some type of cult leaders or both. It's mostly left ambiguous for viewers so that you at home can apply whatever wacky conspiracy you desire. Halfway into the year, the Poppy character began going through a noticeable transition. Her voice started to get even higher in pitch, going from this cutesy, naive, childlike voice to something less human, more monotonous, and robotic in tone. Less expression, personality, her speech altered in many ways, becoming more calculated and limited, as though the humanity was slowly getting sucked out of her. This is the year that they would begin to film more videos in a large studio in front of a white backdrop, referred to as the white void. If you pay attention to the thumbnails scrolling through, you'll notice that the color is slowly getting washed away and becoming more muted in Poppy's world. From this point moving forward, Poppy would always be in character during interviews and public events, with most of Mariah's prior videos, photos, accounts, and any other proof that she was an act getting taken down by Titanic. Everything had to go in order to mask the truth and keep the mystery going strong. This action took place before this period, yet this was the year that things really started to get set in stone. The Poppy videos were starting to get noticed. People were making theory videos left and right, trying to study and decode each and every little message in frame. So seeing as the Poppy character was already known for mocking internet fixations, Titanic and Poppy used this as a way to not only fool people, but also as a method to lead the viewer on and keep them coming back for more, in search of clues and answers. And I think the video that really kicked that off was simply titled 336, an infamous element to the Poppy verse. It consists of her announcing that she is late, as it is currently 3:36, according to Poppy's watch. She points out that 3 + 3 = 6, and constantly repeats that it is 3:36, and that she has to get going for she is late for an appointment.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
Well, it could be an Alice in Wonderland reference, like the rabbit being late for the tea party, or it and many other Poppy videos are a direct reference / imitation of someone Titanic used to work with, that person who I will not be naming until later. Who knows? Nevertheless, this wouldn't be the last time 336 was brought up. It will pop up several more times throughout this video series, as a type of bad omen, a sign that something evil is lurking closer and closer. It also was the title of Poppy's 2016 ambient music to sleep to album, which she would promote in the October video, Ambient Music. In February, Poppy would upload a Valentine's Day themed video, centered around mocking commercialism and materialistic sides of the holiday. A fun holiday to buy things and show your love for capitalism.
There's a section in Target dedicated to Valentine's Day.
Speaking of politics, it was the year 2016, and so Poppy would poke fun at the election in a video called Poppy Loves Politics. During it, she shares her spicy takes towards the candidates, but not really.
I like Hillary Clinton. I like Donald Trump. I like Bernie Sanders. I have an opinion.
Poppy also declares that she proudly supports Republicans and Democrats, and announces that when she becomes president,
I'm gonna tell all the bad guys to go away. Nothing's gonna be illegal, so no one can break the law. My opinion matters. Poppy for president.
So, yeah, Poppy for president 2024, I guess.
The United States of America is perfect.
On that note, during this year, Poppy would post Freedom Song, a video in which she sings the Star-Spangled Banner. However, her voice is processed through a heavy level of auto-tune, giving it a cheap, artificial sound.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light?
Representative of how the song promotes a distorted image of American freedom written by a slave owner. Oh, the irony. Seeing how Poppy is really into technology, it would only make sense for her to compare the difference between the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 6. The main takeaway being that they are essentially the same, and there isn't much point in upgrading every generation. She acknowledges that they both can make telephone calls, and that one can take selfies, and so can the other. A couple months later, Poppy also dropped a video called Taking a Selfie. In it, she asks us if we would like to take a selfie with her. Poppy then proceeds to hold up her phone and take a seemingly endless amount of photos of herself. After taking a few dozen photos, Poppy declares that she finally has taken one that she is happy with. Now she can post them to the internet, a place she loves so much, as proven in the video, I Love the Internet So Much, where Poppy talks about how she is chronically online and the existential realization that once we put ourselves online, we live there forever. The beginning of digital immortality.
After all of us are dead, our content will last forever on the World Wide Web. That's why I love the internet.
Around this time, we would see several instances and little odd moments that suggested that maybe Poppy isn't actually okay, that something more sinister is at play, such as in the video Oh No, where Poppy meets the second Poppy. The one on the left starts dripping blood from the mouth as the other Poppy exclaims, "Oh no," but never tries to help, only stands by to watch. So yeah, Poppy is a clone. We're gonna have to keep ignoring that elephant in the room and just keep moving forward. On the topic of things in the room, there is an intriguing video titled Sunglasses. The video opens and Poppy says that she loves her sunglasses. Suddenly she picks up some type of signal, an interference of some kind. This causes her to repeat the line, facing a new direction and with a bit more enthusiasm. She further explains why she loves sunglasses, as they allow her to see things that aren't usually there. Poppy puts on a pair of mirrored sunglasses and we see a mysterious figure sitting off screen wearing a mask. And the plot thickens. Another instance of odd robotic-like behavior can be found in Do You Believe in the Internet? At the end, Poppy begins laughing over the thought of the future and proceeds to glitch out, before returning back to her neutral state. These sudden odd occurrences would become more frequent for the character throughout the latter half of the year.
Programming complete.
As the year went along, more videos centered around humanity being swiped out with technology.
I'm only human. I'm Poppy.
The character became more of an android test subject in a bigger MK Ultra brainwashing-like scheme. For further illustrating the concept surrounding higher-ups in the music industry taking part in a large experimentation-like program to create the quote-unquote perfect pop star. All of these changes brought forth a lot of confusion and even concerns from her increasing audience, with many under the impression that the Illuminati is real and Poppy must be working for it. She's trying to get into our heads and control us and convert us to the darker forces. After watching videos such as Doritos Monster Energy Drink.
Doritos Monster Energy Drink.
Obvious Satanism.
What has Christ got to do with an energy drink, let alone the name Monster?
All of these reactions would be addressed in the 4th interview with Charlotte, a video in which Poppy is asked what the deal is, and why she hasn't been making any sense as of late. Of course, Poppy deflects all of these questions, answering with completely irrelevant responses.
Poppy, will you please tell me what is going on?
I love my fans, my record label, my handler, and God.
This makes Charlotte extra confused as she pleads for the old Poppy to come back. Previous to this interview, there was an additional one posted this year, although in that one, Poppy was the interviewer, and the interviewee was a talking plant. A new character added to the Poppy verse.
When's the last time you really felt alive?
That's a great question. I really don't know.
I feel the same way.
Following the interview, we got a video titled Poppy Changed, that doesn't star Poppy, but features Plant, Charlotte, and the other new character, Skeleton. Both him and Charlotte debate over how Poppy has become too quote-unquote Hollywood and is super fake now, with Plant being the only one skeptical towards these assumptions and taking Poppy's side. Because as we will learn throughout next year's videos, Plant is a real friend and Charlotte is secretly jealous of her fame and success. As mentioned earlier, in order to keep this illusion going, Titanic went full force to ensure everything from Mariah's past was stripped away and removed from the internet. Despite these efforts, one interview slipped through the cracks by Style Verify magazine, where Poppy is seen out of character and speaking in her natural voice.
She thought that I looked like a character in this movie we were watching, so she started introducing me to people as Poppy, and it stuck.
The two tried everything they could to get their team to take the video down, but they rejected this request. So Poppy and Titanic decided to show that they didn't play nice. In the now deleted video, Numbers. Poppy counts to 10 a total of 11 times, and each time she restarts, a new number is accompanied by a ding sound. When put together, it would give you the phone number of the magazine's creative director.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Having said that, to most onlookers, this probably wasn't noticed or even the most blatant controversial video of hers to come out of 2016. On a more mild note, there was a video where Poppy receives a package, an item that is supposed to represent a type of drug. Poppy takes them, no questions asked. Then there were the religious skepticism themed videos, one which involved Poppy praying for more likes and views, as it would make her life more positive and Poppy much happier. And in another video, Poppy asks the viewer if they ever think about God, and stares into the camera for a minute before saying how truly weird the whole thing is when you really stop and think about it. Probably the most unsettling example of a controversial video was how to load a gun.
Hi, I'm Poppy. In this video, I'm showing you how to load a gun.
Which is a cynical take on the ignorance involved in gun safety and violence. Due to its serious topic, not long after the video came out, it was set to unlisted for nearly 2 years. Throughout the video, Poppy refers to the individual parts of the gun, not by proper name, but instead by using words like this thing or this button. She also comments on the appearance of the gun, saying that that's the main reason why she likes it. Interestingly, the very next video, posted 2 days later, was simply called I'm on the Floor. 2017 was a big year for Poppy and her rapidly growing fan base. She signed to the label Mad Decent, and in October, she dropped her debut studio album, Poppy.Computer, which not only was the album's title, but also served as a URL link that redirects you to her website to purchase tickets for her upcoming tour dates, as 2017 marked the first time she would be going on tour internationally from October through April 2018. Poppy also took part in projects such as Internet Famous with Poppy, a 5-part series of videos produced by Comedy Central, where Poppy would interview various celebrities and teach them ways to become more famous on the internet. One of these cameos was the devil himself, who most will remember from the Lowlife music video. Later in the year, she also made her first of 2 appearances on the Late Show with everyone's favorite James Corden.
I am Poppy.
You're doing great, James.
I thought I was Poppy.
There she performed her latest single, Interweb. In 2017, she also won a Streamy Award.
And the president is bad.
Drop out of art school.
And began doing live streams, more brand deals, would appear in Corporate Rewind, reach 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and the list goes on. As for videos, this was the year with the most content, a total of 179 videos, though a handful of those are now either private or unlisted. And that's not even including music videos. This era would be most infamous for Poppy's wardrobes and fashion statements. It seemed like every week things got more and more outrageous and avant-garde. The character truly was becoming a flamboyant, stylish pop star, including one outfit that I swear Katy Perry wore like 3 years later. I mean, tell me this isn't the same outfit.
Do you want to talk about it?
All of her videos were now filmed exclusively in the white void, with Poppy often whispering and the ambient music taking on an even deeper and relaxed sound. 2017 would also see a lot of tense storyline drama between Poppy and Charlotte, which contained an arc carried over into 2018 for Charlotte's character. Oh, and this was also the year Poppy would start her own cult, or the not cult. So yeah. However, before we get into all of that, 2017 began with what ended up being a 3-part series of painting videos. Each painting has a surreal, childlike naivete style to them, 2 of which seem to be paintings of rabbits and the other is like a river or something. None of these videos have dialogue or ASMR Bob Ross sounds, only ambient music. Poppy is quite the contemporary artist. In January, she released a video titled Delete Your Facebook. That is a very original idea and definitely not a glaring reference to anyone from Titanic's past. Nope. Speaking of the past, at the end of the same month, Poppy uploaded a video where she finally addressed her past, during which Poppy states that her past is riddled with things she is not proud of, loaded with mystery and confusion, that it feels like it was a completely different existence, back when life made more sense and the world wasn't concerned about the latest meme. She proclaims that it feels foggy, like a time that never actually existed, and if that's the case, does that mean Poppy doesn't really exist?
I feel like I was born so long ago. Sometimes I think about my past and it feels real foggy. Almost like it doesn't exist. If my past doesn't exist, does that mean that I don't exist?
February 6th brought us the first live Poppy video, in which Poppy sits on the floor and eats a bowl of cereal. Then she proceeds to crawl towards the camera. Poppy then waves multiple times, each time causing the set lights to dim lower and lower, and the stream ends. On the 2nd of May, my birthday, Poppy did her second live titled Call Poppy 805-624-6667. During the stream, she is seen sitting in a white chair next to a phone shaped like a pair of lips. On screen, there was a phone number that fans could call in to talk to Poppy. All of her responses were pre-recorded and played back through a soundboard, meaning she had to sync her lips to match the recordings, something that's much easier for shorter videos and not so much when you're doing a live for 30 minutes or better, though they try to cover this up with quick camera movements and cuts.
It's me, Poppy. What's your name?
My name's Andrew.
I don't understand.
Occasionally, Poppy received a call from Charlotte as well as Computer Boy, a nod to her at the time upcoming second single, Computer Boy. To promote this at the time, Poppy themed many videos around, well, computers.
I love you so much.
Such as the video where Poppy explains what a floppy disk is before rolling it up and sticking it in her mouth, turning a floppy disk into a hard drive.
Can you explain this lyric from the song? I want your floppy disk to be my hard drive. Yeah.
I wrote that.
What does it mean?
It came from the heart.
So it only made sense to do a follow-up stream centered all around technology, and specifically all the hardware involved in building a computer. The idea was to have Poppy sit at a table with various parts laying out in front of her. Viewers then voted on whatever part she would need to add next by using emoticons in the chat, to help Poppy build the computer. After each step, an image can briefly be seen on the monitor. The first being of Charlotte, followed by Computer Boy, an air, Computer Boy typed out and flashing, Tom Cruise confirming a Top Gun sequel on the 24th of May, Lance Armstrong and Anna Hansen confirming their engagement on Instagram, Poppy's triangle logo, a warning to help Poppy, and finally a message that reads, "Only you can save Poppy," in Morse code. 6 days later, there was what might be my favorite Poppy live video. The stream consisted of her wandering around an empty field, looking like Elena from Beyond the Black Rainbow. It appears as if Poppy is lost, searching for something or someone. Around the 4.5 mark, a figure can be seen far off in the background, and over the course of 13 minutes, the figure continues walking closer and closer to her, though Poppy never notices this. As the black-cloaked person approaches her, the comments in the chat go absolutely berserk, until right at the last moment, the stream abruptly stops. Pretty creepy, but I kinda wish the camera wasn't moving so much, cause it kind of ruins the immersion. Also, they must have shot more in this location because a few weeks later, they posted Maybe It's a Dream. This video, along with all the other streams, have now been made unlisted. The final live video done in 2017 was an interview between some guy and Poppy, who appears on a TV set. The conversations and questions asked mostly related to the upcoming release of her album and the following tour.
I remember the first time they had me sing into a microphone. They told me I could be a famous singer. All I had to do is exactly what they say. They're a lot of fun. Sometimes they're not nice to me.
Another series of videos that started in 2017 were the VR 180 experiences.
I like virtual reality because it's different from this reality.
The first one consists of Poppy sitting on an egg-shaped bed, wearing a very 60s-inspired outfit, which we later see during the music video for Let's Make a Video, a song all about her life as an actress making quality content for YouTube. But yet she's still performing in character, so it's not quite grounded in Mariah's life outside of this persona creating videos. It's the persona's version of her actual life creating videos, if that makes any sense. What doesn't make sense is just how much time this year was dedicated to fleshing out and dramatizing the long storyline of Charlotte being toxic, abusive, and overall creepy and jealous towards Poppy, in a sub-series that is unusual, slightly whimsically surreal, giving the anthropomorphism aspect, though still goes on to cover serious themes including addiction, manipulation, domestic abuse, and child neglect. Now up to this point, we were only given a slight impression that Charlotte was somewhat envious towards Poppy, although never to the degree introduced in the video, I Can Be More Famous Than Poppy, who is absent from this video and instead features Charlotte dissing her despite once being a fan, finding them to be quite funny, now thinks that they're meaningless and just plain dumb.
They were funny at first, but now they are just dumb.
Plant then interjects their views by defending Poppy and her content, saying that they really enjoy them.
You would. You are a plant.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
But Charlotte claims that she could do it better, be more famous than Poppy by creating her own blog. In What Will It Take, Charlotte is seen stalking Poppy in the background, and Poppy never notices.
What will it take to love one another?
The next video was called I Am Your True Friend, and centers around the topic of manipulation, and spreading accusations about a celebrity without knowing the full story towards those who are popular. From here, these videos would chronicle Charlotte's dangerous substance use with I Think I Took Too Many, showing a first-person perspective through the eyes of Charlotte. She says that she took too many of an unknown substance sent by a fan, which appears to be the same drug shown in the 2016 video, Someone Sent Me This. The video ends with Charlotte's voice becoming heavily stretched out and distorted as she looks down at the floor and begins bleeding profusely.
Something is wrong with me.
Around this time, Poppy posted little indications that something was coming on the 31st of January. On that very day, Charlotte would upload a video leaking a snippet of the lead single of Poppy.Computer, I'm Poppy, a song that wouldn't be officially released until Valentine's Day. While all this is happening, Poppy can be heard off camera asking Charlotte why she is doing this, as they told her she couldn't release the song yet. So this was tied into the drama as a nice little promotional stunt, which is a neat idea and kind of fun. So unfortunately, the next video starring Charlotte had to be really not fun. That being, I have such good news. It opens with Poppy declaring that she's been having a good day, as so many fans have been watching her videos as of late. Poppy then says that she has some exciting news, but at that very moment, Charlotte pops up and begins touching Poppy without her consent, asking Poppy why she hasn't been listening to them, as they are doing what's best for Poppy, which is clearly bullshit.
They want to help you.
Charlotte, please stop.
Poppy, they want to help you.
The video ends as Poppy, upset by what just occurred, asks the viewer why Charlotte continues to be like this. Charlotte once again dropped in on Poppy during a video titled The Queen of YouTube. In said video, Charlotte tells Poppy that nobody cares about her or her videos anymore and to stop acting as if she's the new Queen of YouTube. Poppy advises Charlotte to leave as she can't keep showing up like this uninvited. But Charlotte continues harassing and at one point threatens her. Poppy, who has grown uncomfortable by all of this, cries out for security, and a second later a guard shows up and escorts Charlotte away. From here, we wouldn't see another video featuring Charlotte and Poppy for a little while, and instead decided to introduce a new character, Quinn, the son of Charlotte. The first video Quinn was in is titled Mommy, Are You Okay? And spoiler alert, is kind of depressing. The video opens and we see Charlotte passed out on the floor with a bag laying next to her. Quinn's voice can be heard off screen as he asks his mother to wake up, and is unable to process the fact that she has just overdosed.
Mommy, are you awake? Please wake up.
After this, there was a video called These Are Mommies, in which Quinn finds his mother's stash in her bedroom and asks her what they are. And Charlotte responds by saying that these are mommies and that she needs her medicine. The last video Quinn was in before the Mannequin Child Protective Services got involved, I would hope, was Mommy No. Throughout the video, Quinn tries to get his mother's attention, but constantly gets shut down, until eventually Charlotte hits him across the face. Videos after this would show a decline in Charlotte's health.
I am not sick. I am fine.
And her continuing to try to get Poppy canceled off the internet. Writing a blog post in the video Poppy is Over that she knows the truth about Poppy, better than anyone else.
I am a completely normal human. I am a completely normal human.
Eventually, by the 16th of May, Poppy and Charlotte reunited. It's implied that Charlotte had been working through her addiction and may even be on the other side of recovery. Poppy tells her that if at any time she needs help with anything, such as looking after her son, she will be there to support her. Despite all of this, Charlotte acts dismissive, saying how it's none of her business and that she shouldn't talk about her child. Poppy quickly apologizes for this, as she didn't mean to provoke anything, but it's too late. Charlotte is now enraged, grabs Poppy by the neck, and verbally bullies her, asking when she'll finally understand that this is the reason everyone actually hates her. A month after this, Poppy would confront Charlotte on what had happened in the video, But You Choked Me. However, Charlotte gaslights Poppy by playing the victim, denying her claims and insisting that she never choked her, and that Poppy is only saying she did for attention and because Poppy is selfish. Nevertheless, the next video is probably my favorite from this side story, and served as the final consultation between Poppy and Charlotte for over a year. In it, we see Poppy wearing a birdcage and standing up to Charlotte, telling her that she is sick of her coming around all the time and stalking her. but Charlotte brushes all of this off and asks her why she is wearing a bird cage. Poppy tells her that it will protect her, to which Charlotte responds, "This bird cage won't protect you." The two go back and forth on this for a bit before Poppy declares,
"This birdcage protects me from you, Charlotte."
This triggers Charlotte, though Poppy, unintimidated by this, tells her to go on and scram.
"Now get out of here. Scram!"
Lastly, at the tail end of the year, Charlotte began to imitate Poppy's videos. This included recreating certain movements, recreating transcripts, wearing the same outfits. So yeah, she's copying the past work of someone else and claiming it as her own, as a form of mockery. Yep. Moving on.
Delete your Facebook.
As previously stated, this was the year that Poppy began leaning heavily into religion. The idea that she was a cult leader to mock the trend of celebrity worship and how famous people are often treated like all-powerful, godlike figures. There was a video titled "I'm Not in a Cult," which you could purchase on a t-shirt, so that others around you knew you were not in a cult led by Poppy. In April, Poppy took things a step further by releasing a book titled The Gospel of Poppy. It talked about fame, worship, had references to Poppy's other work, such as transcripts from a few of her videos, and unfortunately, the physical copy is no longer available. Some videos uploaded in 2017 also were quite topical, and even predicted the future, sorta. The most obvious case could be made for the video, How to Apply Your Mask, where Poppy teaches the viewer how to apply a surgical mask over your ears and pinching the nose to make sure it's snug and secured. Now in 2020, for obvious reasons, this video started getting a large uptick in views. Many have claimed that this is Illuminati confirmed, but like, maybe this was her attempt to try not to catch, I don't know, a computer virus. That she was a surgeon building computers. Or the government knew the whole time, who knows. There would be future projects from Poppy that dealt with masks. Before we get into that, however, first we're going to talk about something super riveting that perhaps is going to sound slightly odd at first. It's time to discuss the evolution of Poppy's hair. And this will all make sense in a minute, I think. Now, from my understanding of the timeline, which admittedly may be a bit fuzzy given the lack of details and due to several things being removed, Mariah had previously dyed her hair a golden blonde color in 2013 before meeting Titanic and a year before the project was even conceptualized. However, she also tried out other colors and looks as well. Sometime around mid to late 2014, she cut her hair and stayed blonde. Not long after, she began filming the Poppy project, though to me, at the very start of the video series, she appeared to be wearing a wig, one that she stopped wearing around middle of 2015. This was likely to allow her hair time to grow out, or at least I'm guessing this is a wig. Suffice it to say, following that and up to this point, Mariah had been bleaching her hair platinum blonde so that she could physically resemble the character. This likely meant that she was repeating the process at least twice a month to prevent her natural dark roots from showing. I say all of this because in late September 2017, Poppy started wearing a wig once again. First time in public the night that she won the award at the Streamies. And from here, she would be seen wearing it in just about every video up until the end of the decade. My guess for this is that either A, she had grown tired of having to go through this process so often, B, the constant bleaching was starting to affect the health of her hair, or most likely C, a mixture of both. I think they could have chosen a better wig. I don't even know if I would have mentioned any of this if it wasn't so obvious. And with that enticing segment of the video out of the way, we can now move on to 2018. As most fans are aware, 2018 was a bit all over the place. Titanic hit the iceberg. In my personal opinion, 2018 was the lowest period in terms of the video side of the project, offering many videos that either aged poorly or just released with poor intentions, very blatantly, right off the bat. I'm not gonna lie, around halfway through binge watching this year's catalog, it really started to feel like a slog. Mostly just coming off uninspired and not nearly as interesting compared to previous years. Thankfully, things do begin picking up towards the tail end of this year, giving us a taste of the new era that didn't fully transpire until 2019. But that was only a small portion of what was ultimately just a really messy year, full of controversies and scandals. The year did kick off strong, however, with the announcement that Poppy would be getting her own YouTube Premium series, involving a storyline centering around internet sensation Poppy as she enters into the real world for the first time, as she quickly discovers that fame has many caveats. This series would focus on secret societies, dangerous fanatics, and the already established fan favorite, envious rival, and abuser, Charlotte, mixing many of the pre-existing themes and commentaries into one expanded serialized show that reached a grand total of 1 episode. Yes, they made a pilot. They had planned on producing more episodes as the next logical step to further Poppy's character and universe, and yet that never happened. Which, I mean, after watching the 23-minute episode we did get, while being a fine, somewhat novelty side project, I don't really know how much they could have squeezed out of this concept before it got stale. But again, for fans and as a one-off further expansion to what we've seen or come to expect from Poppy, it's a decent kind of meta self-aware piece. In 2018, Poppy made her second appearance as a musical guest on The Late Late Show to perform her Am I a Girl single, Time Is Up. Am I a Girl was Poppy's second studio album released on Halloween, and would lightly introduce a heavier metal pop-fused sound on the track X, where Poppy is conflicting between her two personalities, one that's more of a pacifist and the other having an intense bloodlust. This juxtaposition style carried over into 2019 tracks as well, until fully indulging the sound in her 2020 album I Disagree. The first few months of the year saw her concluding the Poppy.Computer tour, and the end of the year saw her begin the Am I a Girl tour. In 2018, Poppy also presented an award at the Streamies. This year, instead of Titanic wheeling her around in a box, she was going for some type of dog walker theme. Innovative. As for videos, there were much less when compared to the previous year, with many again just being kind of bland.
No.
Like, for many, there just isn't much worth commenting on anymore. They're pretty self-explanatory. Though one of the earlier ones from this year that does stick out to me was called Sleepwalker, and consists of Poppy explaining the importance of staying awake. She states that many people sleepwalk through life, and don't wish to better themselves, the world, or really pay attention to what's going on around them. Poppy questions whether we, the viewers, are sleepwalkers, and if this is the first time in our lives that we've sleepwalked. But even more philosophically, she asks if this is the first time we've slept through a life. Then in April, we got a video titled Liberty, where Poppy appears to be wearing a Hollywood Walk of Fame star on her head. In this video, she declares that she has become liberated.
Free from imposed authority. Happiness. Spirituality. Sin. Social equality. Liberty.
That's great. I'm happy for her, but I think it's finally time to address the elephant in the room. Mainly the fact that the very day this video was posted, a 44-page lawsuit came to surface, filed by Brittany Sheets, aka Mars Argo, and directed towards Mariah Pereira and Corey Mixter for copyright infringement, stealing her identity, likeness, voice, aesthetic, and expression of ideas. That Poppy and Titanic would recreate segments and mock material that she had created in the past alongside Titanic, as if the Poppy project was his attempt to replace Mars. In the lawsuit, Brittany also accused Corey of alleged emotional and physical abuse during their relationship and after they had split up.
Hey Brett, what's your Facebook?
I'm not sure what it's called.
What's it called?
I'm not sure.
Oh really? What's it called?
I'm not sure.
What's your Facebook?
There was evidence to support claims of stalking, harassing, and him even breaking into her house on several occasions, which led to her later being diagnosed with PTSD. Titanic proudly proclaimed in now deleted tweets that he was the one who invented Mars Argo and discredited her for everything they had previously worked on. Now, before all of this came out, Titanic was already a polarizing figure. To some fans, he was just a friend of Poppy's, he must be involved in creating, directing, whatever, no big deal. For others, it was like, hey, this is the guy who used to date Mars Argo. They made very similar videos to the ones he's now making with his new girlfriend, Poppy. Because after 2014, Mars pretty much backed away from the public and nothing else was heard. Suddenly, this new Poppy project emerges and feels very similar. However, nothing was being said about whatever happened to Mars Argo. And it was very weird, and many were rightfully not happy.
Where's Mars Argo?
Oh shit! Should we end the show early?
Not to mention, Titanic often posted rude slurs and other immature, hateful things on his Twitter, which he just kind of brushed off and turned into a meme.
And I'm often mean to people on Twitter. So I had these t-shirts made so people can know whether or not I was mean to them.
Many viewers found him to be quite arrogant, pretentious, narcissistic, and just overall pretty unlikable. Then we cut to April of 2018, and suddenly everything was coming out. That this was all an act Poppy and Titanic were putting on to disguise the truth of the matter. At first, Poppy wouldn't go public that her and Titanic were being sued, but on May 7th, she officially broke her silence, and not in the way you may have expected. Poppy issued a statement publicly breaking character to defend Titanic, claiming that the Mars lawsuit was nothing more than for publicity and stirring up past trauma involving Poppy and a close friend that Britney was collaborating with, whom Mariah dated back in 2015 and had to get a restraining order against. Though it was never proven that Britney was actually working with him at the time, nonetheless, that's the story Poppy tried to sell. Overall, it's a very messy situation from each party pointing fingers at the other, and there is a lot that I could go over, but I feel other videos have done a better job focusing on detailing everything. All I will say is that the most evidence came from Mars and the lawsuit carried out throughout most of 2018. And if you thought it would be a really poor move for Poppy and Titanic to carry on making videos, specifically mocking Mars and the whole trial, well, they did it anyway, and continued acting in character despite everyone now knowing it's all, well, an act. This only made things more awkward, as if they didn't want to address the situation and just continue to pretend like everything was fine. The very next day, after Poppy had issued her statement, a video titled Drama was uploaded and is the most shady thing I've ever seen, during which she claims that Hollywood would not exist without a little drama. Hollywood is a place that has a lot of exciting residents, so people move there with a dream of becoming famous. Some do, while others do not. It's difficult to become famous, it's not difficult to watch other people become famous. Poppy ends the video by saying that she likes Hollywood and likes being famous, which is like clearly an obvious jab at Mars Argo, implying that once Poppy moved to Hollywood, she became famous. When Mars Argo moved with Titanic, she didn't. But she's still desperately trying to achieve that by filing a lawsuit. Just ignore the fact that there's clear evidence backing up many of her claims. But don't worry, the next video is even worse. In You're Too Close, Poppy is seen backing away from the camera in fear. She's uncomfortable as the person holding it moves closer and closer to her. Poppy asks why they are doing this, as apparently this isn't something that occurs often. And this one is very on the nose in what they are referring to. Can You Believe That was posted a month later, in which Poppy stresses the importance of a healthy mind and body, keeping you from feeling empty. She advocates for mental well-being and not to get discouraged when times get dark. Though Poppy also says all of this in a way that maybe isn't the most sincere.
It's only a matter of time before you find happiness.
While researching this video, it was pointed out on the Poppy fandom wiki by an admin named Mara that if you take the first letter of each sentence in the transcript and spell them out, you get F-U-C-K bleep O-U-B-I-T-C-H. Did I mention that Titanic is credited as the predominant writer for these videos? 'Cause he is. Anyways, moving on to the second scandal of the year. In a now unlisted video, Poppy lawsuit, Anyway, Poppy promotes her new merch jumpsuit that was available for purchase on her website. The video features her showing off the details and satirizing advertisements by saying that for those who buy and wear the Poppy suit will become immortal. However, the price was alarming, to say the least. Apparently, they had originally planned to work with the company Big Bud Press, but when they couldn't reach a low enough cost, they turned them down and decided to rip off their designs. The two then purchased much more affordable to mass reproduce suits, which is why they look much cheaper and baggier compared to the original ones. And the last piece of drama from 2018 involved Poppy and her collaboration with Grimes on the song Play Destroy. Evidently, the two didn't get along nicely, and Poppy would go on record to say that she was quote-unquote bullied into submission by both her and her team of self-proclaimed feminists. I don't know, it all seemed pretty petty and not really worth digging back into at this point, but was just yet another thing to add onto the list of what was just a roller coaster of a year. I mean, geez, have I even had time to mention that Poppy started her own church this year? Because, well, she did. 2018 marked the launch of the Poppy.Church website.
Will you join me? Are you ready for salvation?
An interactive user-based site that once you signed up for allowed you to customize your own character, join different rooms and chat groups, explore galleries, purchase pop coins to receive membership perks, view exclusive sneak peeks at future projects, add to forum posts, watch live streams, submit fan art, and convert to Poppyism. Users could quote-unquote pray to their Lord and Savior Poppy at certain times, basically meaning that users would post the praying emoji in chat. It was essentially a celebrity cult-like simulation, enjoyed by the masses. I'm using a lot of past tenses here. We'll come back to this later. For now, Poppy continued putting out videos and the occasional live, such as a 2-part gaming stream where she played Fortnite.
You have a gun? I can give you a gun for the shells.
Is he talking to me?
Though neither of these videos are currently public on the channel. Over the next few months, Poppy's videos would get progressively more ominous and dark, even compared to the stuff that we had previously seen in the last 2 years. It was rumored that this had something to do with the lawsuit, believing that Poppy wanted to branch out and stop the comparisons to Mars Argo, but it's most likely a mix of both that and her wanting to try something new, to leave this bubblegum pop image parody behind and embrace a sound Mariah was personally more a fan of. In interviews, she described writing pop music as difficult, and once she transitioned into more of a metal, heavier sound, it became easier.
I like heavier music because you can hide meaning within it.
In September, a month before her album Am I a Girl dropped, the lawsuit between Mars, Poppy, and Titanic was settled out of court. Britney gained all rights to the Mars Argo brand and would get a restraining order against Titanic. And both Poppy and Titanic, legally from this point moving forward, were no longer allowed to mention or contact her. Meaning all the instances of mocking, references, and other subtle nods in videos began to fizzle out. And the last real instance would come from a 2-part series known as Raccoon. Part 1 was released on the 30th of August, and the second came out on October the 16th. They had more of a short film style to them in comparison to other videos, and both were presented in black and white. In the first video, we would see Poppy sitting at a dining room table drinking tea and talking to a stuffed raccoon, which for some reason kind of reminds me of a Salad Fingers video.
Oh, hello there, chaps.
Poppy then hears a sound coming from another room and asks the raccoon if they could hear the noise. The raccoon doesn't answer for whatever reason, I guess because they aren't a plant or made of plastic. Poppy decides to go check it out, and the video ends with the camera zooming in on the raccoon. Part 2 picks up immediately after the last and consists mostly of Poppy walking down hallways, with a bunch of eerie ambient music in the background. The video ends with Poppy shining her flashlight on a clock, which reads 3:36, the iconic time that originated as nothing and then was made into a canon connection to Mars Argo with a video titled Everybody Wants It All, a haunting short consisting of Mars putting a gun up to her head before cutting to her spitting up blood.
Sometimes I just throw up blood.
Allegedly, the original cut of this video was around 2.5 minutes, but a re-edited cut was uploaded in November of 2016 by Tony, the director, and a good friend of Titanic's to be 3 minutes and 36 seconds in length. Time-wise, this happened 10 months after Poppy uploaded the 336 video, so basically 336 follows the message of everybody wants it all, a warning sign that the end is coming for Poppy. After this 2-part series, we would see a return of Plant and Charlotte still trying to stir up drama with Poppy, and it's obvious that they had started using a different text-to-speech voice.
I am coming for you, Poppy.
One of the last videos from 2018 that I felt really summed up the state of things at the time and the year as a whole for Poppy was the video, Hi, I'm Poppy O, where she keeps attempting her iconic opening phrase, but it just isn't working anymore, represented by 8-bit music that fizzles out before she has time to finish the introduction.
Hi, I'm Poppy. Oh no.
Until after many tries, she finally pulls through the line, and the video ends with her ready to move forward and see what's in store for 2019, the start of a whole new era and direction. Now, in 2019, Poppy slowly began dwindling away from her monotone android-like voice and character. She still put on the persona with the high, soft-spoken, whispery voice throughout the year in videos, which I swear has gotten higher in the last year.
I'm gonna eat you alive.
But outside of that, for interviews and singing, she mostly dropped the act. I mean, there was no reason in trying to hide the obvious now. Everyone knew. Her wardrobe style changed quite a bit, wearing less pastel, flashy colors, and eccentric designs. The cutesy, bright era days were over. Now it was time to enter into a much eviler, darker, satanicer, disturbinger, just a lot more really. In January, she announced a graphic novel titled Genesis 1, teased as the Poppy origin story that would finally answer questions that fans had been asking and theorizing about for years. Is she an android? Is she human? Is she humanity's redemption or damnation?
Ooh.
It came out on July 10th, the same day that she also put out a promotional video titled Theories About Me. In terms of music, she released the 5-track EP Choke. Not long after, she left Mad Decent and signed to a new label, Sumerian Records. This year, she also began dropping singles off her 2020 album, I Disagree. It was a pivotal year, a turning point for Mariah creatively, and set things in motion for how she would leave the decade and start a new chapter the following year. The upload frequency was even less than in 2018, and a majority of videos were now being filmed in darker locations, accompanied by LED lights. Because they were putting out less videos, most were no longer focused around creating theories, featured odd symbolism, or Poppy doing random activities. Characters such as Plant or Charlotte, who to this day hasn't made an appearance since late 2018. Removing all of these elements helped the videos feel fresh, original, to start to stray away from what people had come to expect format-wise, but some videos would still have noticeable inspirations from time to time, to put it lightly. The first was posted on the 3rd of January and has since been made unlisted, that being Hey Plant What, which played out fairly similar to another infamous internet creation from back in the day. It's essentially just Skeleton irritating Plant after watching just a lot of annoying orange.
Hey Plant, guess what?
What?
Hey Plant.
What do you want?
Plant.
What do you want?
Plant.
What?
Hey Plant What would be the last video with the Plant character, and the second to last for Skeleton. The last being the very next upload, I'm Out of Here. Following previous events, it consists of Poppy confronting Skeleton over him harassing Plant, telling him that she is very disappointed. Skeleton tries to deny these accusations and gaslights Poppy, stating that she doesn't know what she's talking about and doesn't understand what it's like to be a skeleton. To be dead. Poppy acts empathetic towards Skeleton, assuring him everything will be alright and that she knows how he feels, to which Skeleton storms off, with his final words being, I'm out of here. During the same month, there was a video titled Outrage, in which Poppy states that her favorite aspect of the internet is the arguments. Poppy further explains that the internet is super fun, which makes her outraged. prompting the viewer to join Twitter and Facebook because they are the best places to start arguments. Poppy asks the viewer what topic they could argue about in the comments, something Poppy could also get upset about to join in on the fun. She ponders on this for a moment before asking the viewer what she should be outraged over.
I'm mad at you, and my opinion is correct. I prefer arguing on YouTube and Instagram. Do you know anything I should be outraged about?
Get Away From Me is yikes. In it, Poppy is not only in the black void, but also filtered in black and white, something that makes her very uncomfortable and anxious. She tells the viewer that she simply wanted to make a YouTube video and go viral. However, something apparently isn't right. As the camera shakes moving closer to her, she tries pushing it away, shielding her face with her hands as the image distorts in frequent flashes. If you couldn't tell, it's extremely similar to the 2018 video, You're Too Close, which was like mocking the abuse claims towards Titanic. Although this time Poppy is in the dark, so maybe now it's not a joke.
I just wanted to make a YouTube video.
On the 20th of March, a somewhat new style would briefly emerge for the next two videos. The first one being A Dream Come True. Poppy is seen in front of a pink backdrop, appearing as if she's in the middle of a photo shoot. She opens the video declaring that
anything's possible on the internet,
and that all of your dreams can come true. Poppy then, in an expressionless monotone voice, repeatedly says happy birthday a total of 11 times.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Some believe that this is actually directed towards Poppy's longtime friend Tessa Violet, as it was posted on her birthday. The line in the video about dreams coming true was most likely in response to Tessa's YouTube video from a couple weeks prior, filmed during her first headline show, at one point proudly proclaiming that this is a dream come true for her. This is one of the rare instances where Poppy and Titanic would make a reference to somebody, and not in a demeaning fashion. So that's a good sign. We'll see how long that lasts. Just keep that in your back pocket for later. 2 days after, Things That I Like was uploaded and followed a similar design to the previous video.
I like you.
In April, we were introduced to the Icky Babies, a group of musicians who served as the backing band for Poppy throughout 2019, making appearances in the music videos for Scary Mask, Concrete, and I Disagree, wearing black and white outfits similar in style to the bodysuit dancers. This video was once again very aesthetically divergent, going for a striking fluorescent LED new wave inspiration. Poppy explains that she was sent the Icky Babies, who were on the same mission that she's on, to bring the viewer spiritual change, stating that they told her that it was time to transition into a new era, and that the Icky Babies are Poppy's destiny. This being the first time Poppy addressed her shift into a new era. From here, there was a video called The Scary Mask Warning. In it, Poppy explains that the Icky Babies have informed her of the scary mask and its powerful effects, stating once she puts on the mask, she won't be the same Poppy again. However, she ignores their warnings and proceeds to put the mask on anyway, leading into her single from May, Scary Mask featuring Fever 333, which Poppy describes as a protection you wear when you're afraid you don't belong. This song and video have been regarded as some of her creepiest and most disturbing work yet. Evidently, it was banned in some countries, allegedly due to satanic messages and its metalcore sound, which, I mean, I don't know about disturbing, but it's definitely creepy, though some just refer to it as a discount X, as they both showcase the dichotomy of sweet and sour, peace and violence. But with X, many fans found it to be more alarming at the time, seeing her first real progression into heavier sounds and looking fresh out of Carrie. Industry Plant was posted in May and features Poppy breaking down the differences between a real plant and an inauthentic plant, explaining how an inauthentic plant is plastic, lifeless, while an authentic plant is alive and has a soul. It needs soil, water, and sunlight. She further elaborates, saying most people can't tell the difference between the two, and most would rather pick an easy, inauthentic plant. This can easily be applied to the music industry for artists with the advantage of being backed by a large label, yet present this image and illusion that they were homegrown and built their way up organically, independently, Unfortunately, many upcoming artists are led to believe that this is the ideal route from very early on, to sign to some major record label without the awareness of the many cons, having less of a voice, a say in what you create, and the way it's ultimately released, if released at all. Now our next video is going to be interesting. In early September, Poppy released a teaser clip on social media of her giggling. She announced that this was a snippet for what she claimed and advertised as a movie. Less than a week later, a video titled Me Laughing was uploaded to the Poppy channel. It was just shy of 28 minutes in length, and was the movie. It's just her laughing in different shots for nearly 30 minutes. That's it. Now, why did she do this, you may be asking? I mean, honestly, is this even like shocking or surprising at this point? I'm personally desensitized to all of this now. But from my understanding, it was produced in response to Melanie Martinez's movie K-12, which had just come out at the time. The trailer gave off this impression of a feature-length, narrative, plot-heavy film. However, really it was more of an album music video, essentially. The aesthetic was rich, though the characters and writing, like the dialogue, was less to be desired. I don't know, that could be a hot take. All I'm gonna say is that the advertising definitely painted it as something else. So remember when I said keep it in your back pocket during the A Dream Come True video, being a nice message to Poppy's friend Tessa Violet? Well, apparently at the time, Titanic didn't like Melanie. He would constantly look for things to accuse her of on Twitter, such as ripping them off, which is ironic. So basically, this quote-unquote movie was a satirical jab at false advertising, and was posted the same day Melanie put the K-12 film on her YouTube channel. Throughout fall of 2019, Poppy started to sport black bangs along with her blonde wig. She performed a 13-city tour in the month of October into early November, called the Threesome Tour. Around this time, the YouTube channel would stay mostly silent with little to no videos for the remainder of the year. During the tour, her and Titanic officially broke up after Poppy hit a breaking point. There's a lot to this story, and several things are still unknown even to this day. Many fans had speculated that this was a long time coming, with some believing that Poppy was trapped under a 5-year contract with Sinclair starting back in late 2014. However, this was never proven to be the case. Towards the end of December, Poppy released a statement about the split, explaining that they met when she was still fairly young and naive and defended his actions for years, being led to believe that Corey was purely misunderstood, that he would use several extremely serious forms of emotional and psychological manipulation tactics that he had previously used on Britney. And in October, it had reached an ultimate breaking point. With Titanic's mental health getting worse, it was all getting to be too much for Mariah to handle. At this time, Poppy publicly stated that many believed that he was controlling the narrative, and was the puppeteer running the whole show, controlling her every move, something that she claims couldn't have been further from the truth and was more of a 50-50 effort. The year came to a close with 2 music videos. The first being Blood Money, a song that went on to be nominated for a 2021 Grammy Award for Best Metal Performance, and was the last video to be directed by Titanic. The other music video released in December was Fill the Crown. To me, I Disagree was the best Poppy album with just so many great tracks. Evidently, despite Titanic's involvement, many of the lyrics written by Poppy were secretly directed at him. With a couple exceptions, Blood Money, for instance, was written about religious hypocrisy that she experienced while signed to Island Records management. Speaking of religion, the Poppy.Church site was shut down due to mismanagement. Poppy began firing and hiring new members to her team, and notably dyed her hair back to its natural brunette, thus concluding the decade, closing a chapter, and putting an end to the quote-unquote Poppy project, probably for the greater good. On January 10th, 2020, the I Disagree album dropped, which received a deluxe edition on August 14th titled I Disagree More. She went on tour, yet this came to an abrupt stop in early March for obvious worldwide reasons. She also had her directing debut, directing many of her music videos for songs such as Anything Like Me, Sit Stay, and her cover of All the Things She Said. In April, Poppy returned to YouTube. Throughout the year, she did a series of makeup tutorials. To combat negative comments, comments she frequently received from Titanic based on her appearance without makeup. These videos would include looks from photo shoots, music videos, and typically began by showing off the products read by a deep distorted voice.
Lush Fairy Dust, Urban Decay Colored Mascara in pink, Glossier Play Liquid Pigment, Highlighter.
And all of these videos had a consistent purple backdrop with 2 LED lights. On September 10th, we saw the return of Monster Energy Drink.
I love Monster Energy Drink. Have you ever tasted one?
Near the end of the year, the second Poppy graphic novel, Poppy's Inferno, was released, as well as a holiday EP titled A Very Poppy Christmas. The makeup video trend would continue into 2021, but there were way fewer of them, with the last of the series being uploaded on the 12th of May. In June, Poppy released her 4th EP, Eat. The EP was a soundtrack in partnership with WWE NXT, which she had performed for many times, dating back to 2019. In September, she also dropped her 4th album, Flux, consisting of 9 tracks. I really like the visual experimentation for this album's music videos, such as her being animated using only stop motion. She announced an international Flux tour in August, though due to you-know-what still going strong, it was postponed until January 2022, eventually becoming the Never Find My Place tour. Since she performed in a total of 68 cities, this tour would last throughout most of 2022. She did post a handful of videos to YouTube here and there. However, it seems like creating videos for the internet isn't really her main focal point anymore. To this day, the latest non-music related video on the channel is titled Capture. In said video, we see Poppy getting wrapped up in a long ponytail by some guy in a mask. It's unknown who this person is, but he is briefly seen unmasked in the Instagram on-set video.
Capture.
A few months later, on a new label, Republic and Lava Records, her first time with a major label since her debut EP, Bubblebath, Poppy released her 5th EP consisting of 4 tracks, Stagger. The signing wouldn't last long though, as she is currently back with the indie label, Sumerian Records. Poppy has been teasing her upcoming 5th studio album, and has, at the time of recording, recently dropped the first single, Church Outfit. She has also announced a headline tour called the Godless/Goddess Tour, which will begin this August, as well as the 3rd Poppy graphic novel, Tit Tat, set to drop next month. With that being said, clearly Poppy isn't going away anytime soon, with many big things on the horizon. So what can be learned from all of this? Well, for starters, many things have oh-so changed since the very beginning of Mariah's career. The Poppy project days seem to be long past, but it's an interesting span of online content to say the least, that reflected in many ways what Mariah had gone through in the early days of her career. She wanted to achieve a lasting career as a music artist, and this was the leap that everyone seems to go for. When she got there, she signed to a label and realized it wasn't what it was made out to be. People in the industry are oftentimes deceptive and can be controlling or predatory, competing for attention. It can feel demanding and a challenge to find a voice for yourself in a sea of so many others trying to keep up, coping through the stresses and pressure of maintaining it all, how fans look up to, idolizing celebrities as leaders or gods, how stan culture can become problematic. All of these themes played out throughout the video series. She's later said that the frustrating thing working with Titanic was that many people looked at him as the one in charge, the one with all the ideas, demands, essentially took him more seriously. I'm sure Titanic's behavior over the years did play a large part in affecting the Poppy brand and how others perceived her. After the split, Poppy seems to have way more say in her creative projects and just the heavy weight of Titanic's influence off her shoulders. She can fully decide what she wants for herself as an artist without the added negative energy. But as a piece of internet history, how they were able to captivate a decent-sized audience by posting them, I think there is something to be said in that regard. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun to put together, so I hope you all enjoyed it. And I look forward to potentially making more content around mysterious internet oddities in the future. If that sounds like something you'd be into, consider subscribing, dropping a like. Comments and other things also are very much appreciated. Thanks for watching. This is Zenni, or Poppy. Goodbye.